garden, November 9th or 10th or something. I grew all those pumpkins this year. Raspberry, blueberry, blueberry, raspberry, still putting out flowers, and I think this is a blueberry flower. It's a young plant. I think it's just confused. And there were a lot of berries in there earlier. I think it's either Heritage or Concord. And I don't know the varieties of these two blueberries, but doing well, doing well. We're gonna plant this whole area and part of the front as well. And over there, where all that grass is dead, probably fig tree or lilacs. Passion fruit, need to take that inside before it freezes. Pawpaws. All of these right here are pawpaws. And there's like 6 or 7 just select pawpaw varieties, which means they came from grafted parents. Good variety parents, and then from the fruit, they took seeds and grew them out. And pretty much all these other ones are grafted varieties. Besides these two, these are just the oldest ones I could find to buy online. Muscadine, need to really put that on a trellis before it gets too out of hand. This is a Aptos Blue Sequoia, looking pretty good. Monkey puzzle next to it, really sharp. And I think they're stagnating in these pots because it's just straight compost, so it doesn't have enough drainage. Desert King, 35 bucks from a local place, a local woman on Craigslist, and just trying to put out a fig. I don't know if it's the Brava or the main crop, but I'm not gonna touch it just yet. It's focusing. I don't think I'm gonna get that to focus. Peach, Bonanza, fig, apple. This is, I believe, the Freedom apple. Pakistan mulberry, peach, but I let the rootstock grow out, which I should not have done. I should have cut that off, but it's rather large now, so I'm going to try and air layer it and graft all these tips and make my own peach tree with a bunch of different peaches on it. Another peach, another peach, another one. Mulberry, dwarf mulberry. You should grow these if you have deer, because they will eat a lot of these leaves instead of apple leaves or whatever else they like to munch on. So it's the decoy, but it also could be an attractant. So if you already have deer, try and get one to use it as a decoy. If you don't have deer, maybe not get these. Fig that put out a super weird leaf. This is Cure Beach, and no other leaf looks like this. It is really weird. Blackjack, putting out some figs. Maybe it'll ripen if it doesn't freeze for a couple more weeks. Probably a couple days till the first freeze, but this is a local unknown that was an air layer earlier this year. Dropped most of its leaves, but it's holding on to a few. I mean, it was 80 degrees like 2 or 3 days ago. Olympian fig here. Maybe I'll get a fig or two. Should probably pull a bunch of them off and let it focus on 1 or 2, but oh well. And these are all giant sequoias. except for these, which are Colorado blue spruce, I believe. This one here is losing a lot of its lower branches and sending up stuff from the roots, it looks like. Hopefully it's not dying, but we've got a few more to take its place, huh? I'm gonna put some trees in here. This is a bunch of leaves that get collected by the city, and they're really fine. Probably about 50% are in really small pieces. 75 are in slightly bigger, and then there's some whole leaves mixed in, but this is gonna break down really fast and make some good soil in this area. And then I'm going to plant it in a year or two with all the trees that are getting their roots pruned, which is gonna be good. This is bed number 2, which needs to be measured more accurately, so I decided to stay quite in the lines. A lot of apples over here, 10 or 11 or something. They're all like $5-10 from Starks towards the middle of the year. The ones that didn't sell / looked bad is my guess why they're so cheap. But they're all doing all right except for this one, not looking too happy. And in the background, in the creek, large leaves are the older pawpaws. All the same one because they all came from the same roots. 2 more pawpaws. Lots of pawpaws. Mostly dead garden. Moringa, which I'm trying to air to bring inside, but I might just cut it all up and put it in pots and bring it in. And over here is a raspberry. And in the bed in front of that, which is hard to see, is blackberries. Next one is tomatoes, which I need to pull those tomatoes off and put them in the garbage because a bunch of tomato plants are going to come up next year, and that's going to be annoying. Here's the hose that goes down to the creek. Which I'll show you the spring that it comes from. This is a creek down here, which is fed by a spring that is way far out that way, probably 200, 300, 400 feet or so. It feeds this, and it runs all year long. And there's a pump in this area over here that I am using to water my garden, which is nice. And it's a lot better than the tap water with the chlorine in it that kills fungus and stuff. Pawpaw, many pawpaws down here. And we'll go look at the last 2 groups of pots. Sugar maple. Didn't like its transplant. Dropped most of its leaves. It's probably gonna go dormant now. Persimmon. Goji berry. Blueberries. And a fig cutting that didn't take, which I need to just get rid of. Fig. Wisteria. Smells really good. So I wanted some. Fig. Oak. Crips pink apple, one of my favorite apples. So I'm gonna graft that some more onto some rootstock I bought. This is, I believe, a wisteria. Yeah, blue wisteria. Raspberries. Bought it as just like root. These ones stayed because the pot holds a lot more water than these 2. Those dried out and I think they're dead, but oh well. Blackberry, muscadine, mulberry, apple, mulberry, pomegranate, fig, pomegranate, fig. Really beautiful leaves on this one. Honeyberries, I think one died, this one here. Peach seedlings I bought online, wasted money. Figs, willows, lilac, oak, I think I already said that. There's a maple, pussy willow, which is supposed to put out a ton of flowers and pollen. Mulberries, which have been munched on recently by deer. Nice decoy. Apples right next to it, pretty much untouched. Fig, and there's 2 sugar maples in there, 2 small ones. And a fig that put out a super weird leaf. That is really weird. And which, I just labeled it too. I got that written down somewhere. I should put the name on there. Alright. And blueberries. All you gotta do is get the pH right. Doesn't really matter what soil it is, and as long as it's not concrete. I accidentally whipped up some soil with coco coir and some really bad dirt out of these beds, and it almost turned into concrete. Really did not like that. But peat moss and compost, just mix those together and put some blueberry fertilizer on it. Very nice. They'll love that. Figs. Fig. Blueberry. I think this is an elm. It was growing in there, so I just left it. Don't really need that pot for anything. Mulberry cuttings that keep getting eaten by deer and set back. And then there's some blueberries raspberries and blackberries in those pots there. Grape cuttings, I don't think any of those took. There might be one in there. And there's a tomato that took over, and it's trying to put out something, but it's probably just gonna get frozen. There's another one. Not gonna turn into anything though. Okra. I should probably collect some of these for seeds for next year. We'll see. And the tomato plants, they're putting out a few. There's a lot of green ones that you guys can't see, probably. Blackberries, alright. And that's pretty much the state of the garden. These are potatoes that sat in the garage for 5 months or so, and they were super dried out, and I put them in the bed and they took off. Sucks for them because they're probably gonna freeze in a few days. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna get another huge pile of leaves. One of the neighbors collects the leaves. I don't know if I went in depth earlier or not. He collects the leaves and for the city, all around Harrisburg. And then I'm just gonna get some more and put them over here just as high as they are over here. And then in the other orchard spot, which is where the spring is, I convinced that neighbor to let me put in some trees. I'm gonna see if I can put a bunch of leaves over there just like this, and I'll show you that in the next video. All right, see you guys later.